Welcome to Allies or Enemies. I'm Jess.
And I am Sean, and this is our top 21 of 2021.
It's been a few months now into 2021, so we already did a ranking back in December with the games that we had played thus far. But since then, we have played a whole bunch more. So we thought, let's revisit our list, especially some of the ones that we've played more and some of our new ones, and see what 2021 looks like.
And we were going to revisit a top 10, and then we started breaking it down, and we played some like 45 games that had come out in 2021, and there were just so many that we liked, and we figured it sounds good. So we're going to go with it, our top 21 of 2021, and let's just roll right into it, I think.
Our number 21 is Explorers, which is a quick roll and write by Phil Walker Harding, and you are just exploring your map. You flip a tile and then you cross off that terrain as you try and race to temples and race to collect different things that are on the map.
And the great thing too is it's so interchangeable. So all of the bits in it, like you can flip all of the little map parts, you can flip all of the scoring parts. You can interchange it in so many ways. And it moves so fast. And I think this is one came out here in the UK a lot earlier, and it's really picking up steam now stateside. So that's great to see.
And that was our number 21.
Number 20 is Red Rising. And Red Rising, just super quick, simple card game that is really just building your best hand by the end of the game. And during the game, you're trying to fulfill these 3 different goals at the same time. And one of the reasons we love this is because of the connection to the books, which we started reading because of the game, and we really like.
Yeah, and it works really well as a filler game. And so because of the quick 20 minutes to play through, it's nice to try and find those combinations that work well, and you never get through the whole deck. So every game's a little bit different.
Yeah, there's a lot of cards, and you're only going to have at most 7 in your hand. So there's a lot of different combinations. And that is 20.
Number 19 is So Clover, and this is one we were eyeing up for a little while before deciding to purchase because we mainly play just the 2 of us. And officially, this isn't even a 2-player game, but we thought we would pick it up and give it a try. And we love it. We play which again, it's just 2 of us playing, and we have to give clues, and we try and do 2 rounds of a perfect score. So in it, you have these cards that you try and match up a word that combines the 2 cards on each of the outsides of it. And I think having 2 people that know each other so well.
At least we thought we knew each other so well. Because we play with it, we have to get to 2 perfect rounds. And it gets really intense, which is part of the fun of it, actually, because after we scored 1 perfect round and we know we got to follow it up with a second, because they got to be in a row as well, the stakes get high. And just really fun. And it also can just be kind of a chill party game, we found with like newer players. But with 2 players, if you play our back-to-back way, it's an intense struggle.
But it was a pleasant surprise.
Our number 18, this is the only one we don't actually own that's on this list, and it is 7 Wonders Architects. And so 7 Wonders Architects really just super simplifies 7 Wonders. It's really a terrific gateway game. And the only reason we don't own it for a couple of reasons. One, we played a lot on Board Game Arena. Also, our friends have a copy, so we haven't really needed to get a copy because it does play better with 3 or 4 players than it does with 2. But it plays really fast, and the physical copy does look great, so I'm really tempted.
It looks amazing because each player gets their whole little tray with their different monuments, and so in person, it really does bring a lot more than playing it on Board Game Arena for sure.
And the different monuments, it's cool how asymmetric this game is as well for such a light game. But that is our number 18.
Our number 17 is Mind Management, and this has an amazing look to it. So it was the art style that drew us in, and it is a hidden movement game. Is that the way to describe that?
Yeah, it's a hidden movement game, and I like it a lot more than Jess does, let's be honest. I love the comic book style to this. I haven't read the comic book yet, and I really do want to, but I love the look of it and just the feel of it, and it's like a campaign game, and it adds things, but we have been playing that I've always been because we're playing through a campaign. So I've always been the hidden one, and you've always been the finder. And
yeah, and I feel like it works better if it's more than one person who's being the finder, because then you could all work together on the clues and you're talking about it out loud, and the person who's trying to stay hidden gets the enjoyment of like hearing this conversation and be like, haha, I'm nowhere near where you thought I was. So I feel like it doesn't quite shine at 2 players, but you still really like it.
I do, and just the art and all the hidden little, like, but as an actual game, I do think it plays well. I'm excited about using the app now as well to try the solo mode, but that is our number 17. Our number 16 is Korra, Rise of an Empire.
And in this one, it has a lot of tracks, basically, that you're trying to go up. And you're playing cards to do your actions and to try and combo things. And again, this is one that we played a lot of when we first got it. And I really loved the production of it. The dual layer boards and everything looked really great. It's just over time, it's not one that we've been drawn as much to come back to.
This is one that every time we play it again, I'm like, oh yeah, I really like that game. But it's not one that I'm immediately like, oh, I gotta grab that off the shelf. But still, really solid game. And I like engine builders, and I like track sliders. I really like moving stuff up and down tracks. This does that very well.
Number 15 is Lamaland. Lamaland? Lamaland.
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 Lamaland? Lamaland.
Lamaland. Lamaland. And it's another Phil Walker Harding game, so the second one of the list. But for this, it's a tile placement one, and it is very similar to Baron Park and Gingerbread House. So if you played both of those, then you'll be familiar with a lot of the concepts here. It is a little bit more three-dimensional because you are building out and up. And then, like both of those games, when you cover a tile, you usually get a bonus of whatever you're covering as well. But I really like the llama meeples. They look amazing.
Yeah, Baron Park and Gingerbread House are 2 terrific games. Baron Park's in like my top 5 games of all time. So I was kind of destined to like this, and I do. And it is nice that it has that 3D build up. It kind of adds an extra layer to it. And like you said, the llama meeples are great.
And that was our number 15.
Number 14 is Rolling Realms, and we are big fans of roll and write games. And I was playing this quite a bit, actually, the free online one during the pandemic. So I was really excited to get this, and I wasn't sure how they were going to do that same, like, because on the online one, it just kind of randomly generated which 9 realms you had. And they did it so smart, just using different cards. And how it plays is you've got 3 different cards, all of them score and play a little bit differently, and they just combine in different ways. And it's really fun in that, although it is a little bit more complex, kind of, because you got to learn the different rules of each of the realms.
Play. But this is one that I maybe had a little bit lower. I don't know if we had even made our list last time. And it is so much higher this time because it is one we pull out a lot. So it isn't one that we kind of played 5 games of and then didn't really think about. We bring this out so often because it just works as a quick game, and those combos that you mentioned always feel so different.
Yeah, this is one that was almost like a slow build. Like, we played it a bit, and it feels like we almost play it more and more over time.
Yeah.
But that is our 14.
Our number 13 is Tiny Epic Dungeons. And so this is my favorite Tiny Epic games. Is it your favorite as well?
It's top 3. It's top 3 for sure, and it moves around depending on how successful our last dungeon raid was.
That is very true. It is a dungeon crawler, and they have a lot of great mechanics in it, and the dice rolling system works so much better than other dungeon crawlers that I've seen that use dice. And so it has so much promise, and I have this pretty high because I love dungeon crawlers, and when it works so great. Like when we really do a successful dungeon crawl, and that one time we won, I think that one time, it just sticks with me as like, this was an amazing experience.
Yeah, that is the telling thing, is we have still only won one time, but we've made it very close a bunch of other times. And even when you lose, when you come close and lose, it still feels like a compelling, interesting experience. And it really does a lot with it. This does the most with a small box of any of the Tiny Epic games.
Yeah. And that was our number 13.
Number 12 is Welcome to the Moon. And Welcome to, still maybe my favorite flip and write game of all time. But Welcome to the Moon does a pretty good job of building on that. So this has got 8 different maps. All of them work differently, although they do have kind of like a universal
language.
Yeah, so you're not totally relearning every time. A couple of them are way out there. But they all do play really differently, and it also has a campaign. And the campaign is cool and adds cool things, but I will say, maybe the worst writing I've ever read in any game, but so bad that it's actually kind of fun to read if you just go into it with that mindset. We've had a lot of fun playing through the campaign of this and just playing through the maps.
I was going to say, you don't have to play it as a campaign, and as it is just 8 across the board interesting maps that you can play standalone as well. So they did a great job with that. Our number 11 is Dinosaur Island Roar and Write, and they've done such a great job of taking the elements of Dinosaur Island and putting it in this format. And it is a lot heavier, I would say, than a lot of the ones that we've mentioned so far in terms of roll and writes, because of the decisions of the dice phase that you do and the action selection. It's more than just kind of picking something and drawing it out. There's a lot of different decisions to make in it.
It really does take that Dinosaur Island experience and just makes it so simple. Because one of the problems, and I like Dinosaur Island and Dinosaur World a lot, but there's a lot of setup to those games. They take a little bit of doing, and they take a lot of table space. And it's nice to have an option just to boil that right down into something that you can fit, you can play in a pub, you can fit on a tiny space, and you can have set up like by just taking it out of the box.
And still has like that same kind of feel of an experience to it too, for sure.
Yeah, really cool game. And that is number 11. All right, so before we get to the top 10, we are going to cheat just a little bit because we got these 3 games here that were all in our top 10, but we felt like they're all more sequels. They're all already in previous lists. They're all games we love very much.
Yeah, these are a separate version of existing games from previous years, so we felt we could kind of do them all together now.
Yeah, so these are all, originally we did have these as 7, 8, 9 in our top 10, but we thought, let's highlight some other new games. We still want to talk about them. So X-Men United, obviously the new version of Marvel United. I love it. We've been playing so much of this. The bad guys are better, and it's really cool and fun and light.
Yeah, and then Horrified American Monsters. We love the original Horrified, and this one is great. We don't know the monsters nearly as well, but they've done such a fantastic job, and each of the monsters feel, again, just so different. And so, again, this is one that is, all 3 of these actually are really nice, light, cooperative games.
And the crew, we really liked. Well, the first crew actually took us a little while to build on us. By the end of it, we really liked it. But this one, I think, any problems we have with the first one, this one fixes. This is the one to get. Like, don't worry about playing them in order. Just get this one, especially if you're playing with non-gamers, because folks who have just played a card game are going to like it. So all 3 of these we really like. If you're wondering why they're not in our top 10, that is why. Let's get back to the top 10.
Our number 10 is Terraforming Mars Ares Expedition, and it is quite a bit different from the original. A lot of the great mechanics of the card tableau building and engine building are still there, but it's a little bit more streamlined by playing action cards that then everybody gets to do that action at once. So it's more simultaneous action. So it goes a little bit faster and less waiting between turns.
Yeah, it's got kind of it's got Race for the Galaxy action selection, and it just has that card system, which is a card system I really like, but it does a great job of mushing that together with a lot of the stuff that we like about Terraforming Mars. I do kind of miss. I like putting the tiles on the map.
I like it too, especially the 3D tiles.
Yeah, so I do miss that a little bit, but I really think at the higher player counts, this one shines because it goes so much faster.
Yeah. That's our number 10.
Our number 9 is Canvas, and this one is the newest one to us. We just recently got this, and we've been playing it a bunch just lately. And it's just so nice. I feel happy while playing it. I really like putting together my little art pieces, and as soon as we're done one, we make sure to really show it to each other. And we're like, I'm as proud of my art pieces as I am of actually scoring points.
Yeah, I think this really shines if you just appreciate that experience. And so far, every time we've played, I've taken a picture of the things I've done because I've loved how the combinations of the images and how they've come together. Just appreciate it for building a lovely art piece and trying to find those combinations where you can.
You still have to be a bit competitive about it. Like, I have lost all of our games so far, so Jess can be a little blasé about being competitive. I would like to win, but I also would like to make beautiful art. So that is our number 9.
Our number 8 is Meadow, and Meadow is another beautiful game. The art on here I really like. The animals look amazing, and you are drafting cards to build out your ecosystem. And everything works in terms of starting with the trees and the things at the bottom, and then the stuff that would eat the trees as you build it up. But it can be really tricky to kind of find those right combinations, and usually the games are so close that couple of points that you can find can make a big difference.
It's got such a good card selection system too. I really like it where you're putting your little arrows on the side of the board, and then those arrows have different powers as well that you can use in this campfire thing. So it's simple, but there's just enough depth in it, and I think just even that card selection system just adds that just enough more to really make it feel like something.
Yeah.
And it's so pretty. It really is.
And that was our number 8.
Our number 7 is The Great Wall. And The Great Wall is one of those games that's just really impressive when it's out, where you see people playing it and they've got this wall built and they've got all their dudes on it, and it looks really cool. But that's not really the reason that I like it. The reason I like it is it's a surprisingly good worker placement game. Really, at the heart of it, you're doing resource management, and then you've got a bit of a kind of a shared tower defense. And I think that fact that you both have to share the responsibility is really cool as well.
Yeah, because you're trying to stop the hordes from breaking through the walls, and so you are, it's a negative thing if you're not participating in that at all. That affects all players. So even though it's very competitive and you want to have the most honor points at the end, you both really have to try and get rid of the invading hordes.
And that is Great Wall.
Our number 6 is Merchant's Cove, and the selling point for this is how asymmetric it is, because at the beginning of the game you pick a character, but each of the characters is basically playing their own little mini game, and your whole goal is to have merchandise that you sell at the cove to sailors who come for it. But you might do that using like a roll and write system, or you might do that using a dice placement system. And so each of the characters feels so different and plays so differently.
Yeah, I think a knock on this is that you almost have to learn all these different games, kind of like Root. But I love that. And this is one that I had quite a bit higher than Jess last time, and I still have quite a bit higher this time. And I really haven't lost any love for this game. I would play this every day. It is so much fun just learning how to use all of the different roles. And it looks cool, and I love asymmetry. So I'm a big fan of this one.
And it's unlike anything I've seen in terms of asymmetry before. So that is definitely a real plus for that. And that's our number 6.
Number 5 is Dinosaur World, and we had the Dinosaur Island Roar and Write on a little bit lower on the list, and we really like that one as well. But when you want the full dinosaur experience, this is the only way to do it. This is really replaced Dinosaur Island for me. But it is a big table hog. There is a lot of pieces to this. There's a lot going on. This is really creating Jurassic Park. This is Jurassic Park, the board game. And I want to play that.
And so many of your actions that you're doing are based on the tiles that you select to put out. And so as you drive your Jeep around, you might be making more dinosaurs or have these really great attractions. And so that whole making it into a world and a theme park experience adds so much to it. And every time we play, I also just get interested of like, ooh, can I do like a danger park? Should I take the risk?
Yeah, Jess kills a lot of people. Do not visit her dinosaur parks. Yeah. Mine are much safer. But it really is great that you are building the park, you're getting the dinosaurs, and you're actually visiting the park. And I don't know how you would do more Jurassic Park than what this game is. They just nailed it with this one. So that is our number 5.
Our number 4 is Batoku, and I was drawn to it because it looked so interesting. And then once we got it out, it did seem a little bit overwhelming because there are so many different places that you can put your dice and then so many different tiles that come out. And it does take a couple of games to kind of play through it and get used to it. But once you're familiar with the icons and the system, it does work so well. And the way that you play means you can't focus on, well, you have to focus on one thing because you can't do everything.
Yeah, it really is. And you are right that it looks overwhelming at first, and the rulebook doesn't help you out a lot, but it is a lot simpler than it looks. And I think there's a how to play from Nithrania, I want to say, that was really good and really helpful. So I would say find a how to play video, but once you figured it out, it really is a cool game, and it's got so many interesting little like nooks and crannies in the game where you've got the cards and you've got the tiles and you've got like the building tiles you're putting out that add actions, and then you've got the dice, and there are a lot of moving parts, but they move together really well as well, and it's fun focusing on the different things in different games.
Yeah, and so every game does feel so different. And so that is our number 4.
Our number 3, and this was our number 1 the last time that we did it, and we still really like it. It's just there's 2 games that were kind of the undeniable 1 and 2. And we'll get to those in a sec, but for now, let's talk about Hadrian's Wall, because this is kind of the roll and write of roll and writes. Like how much this does just with 2 pads of paper where you're checking off boxes amazes me. Where most roll and writes, I think, are meant to be kind of quick games, and it's meant to be shrinking down a game to a simpler version. This is more taking a super complex game that would cost way too much to produce and just making it possible by using like the roll or flip and write mechanics. And this is just like a combo fiesta.
I love the combos to it, and it's so interesting because you both get your starting things for the round, and then it's heads down as you are looking at your puzzle and trying to figure it out and realizing if you trade these 2 things in, you get these other 2 things.
This is the heaviest roll and write that's out there. I feel pretty confident in saying. And it's great. It's so worth playing. And it's a heavy box too. This is a hefty boy here. Well worth it though. This is a terrific game.
Our number 2 is Cascadia, and this was our number 2 last year. It was just behind Hadrian's Wall, but I think it moved up because we play this so often. This is one that hasn't sat on our shelf. It's come out a lot, and I love the simplicity of it. It is something that each turn you're just making a simple decision of what tile and what animal combo that you want to add to your park as you build it out and combine your landscapes and your animal groupings. But there's just so much like interesting combinations that you can do with that, and it just looks lovely as well.
And just changing those scoring cards makes such a difference. And I think like as you play it more, you kind of appreciate it more almost, which is why it hasn't moved up our list, but it's held tight even though we've played so many more games. And it's just such a good light game, and this really fits into like kind of our sweet spot of games that we play a lot. This is right at that weight.
Yeah, and so that is our number 2.
Our number 1 will come as no surprise if you've been paying any attention to board games this year. It is Ark Nova, and Ark Nova does so many things well, and it so smartly takes things from all of these other games as well, because it's got the terrific card selection system that was seen in Civilization New Dawn. It's got a lot of DNA from Terraforming Mars. It's just a terrific tableau builder and card drafter, and you're actually building out your conservation park. It's not just a zoo, it's a conservation themed park. by putting the actual pens in there and then filling it with the animals and hiring specialists. And it's so satisfying because it really feels like you're doing every part of it. Even the administration is fun.
Yeah, and every game, again, is one that feels so different. I think a big part of that is the final scoring and end round trigger is when your two markers cross. And so we've had games where both of us have really kind of taken our time and have built it out and that have lasted a little bit longer. We've got to do a little bit more. And other times where we've raced a little bit on those conservation or that experience and really kind of triggered that end a lot quicker, and that has made it super interesting.
Just the different goals too make it so interesting as well, because the game feels different if you're collecting birds or if you're collecting predators or if you've got a ton of primates or if you're just doing a lot of projects. Like, all of that feels different, and you can do all of that, and you're just trying to fill out your zoo board, or maybe you're just doing really big animals, and you can picture how kind of your different zoo is going to be as well. We have so much fun. We just played this last night, and just to make sure it was our number one, and we were both like, oh yeah, that's our number one.
Yeah, the mechanics are great and the theme's amazing. The conservation add-on, so it's not just a zoo. Like, I got to release a couple animals into the wild on mine yesterday, which was great. So it is all put together so well.
Yeah, this is easy, number one with a bullet, Ark Nova. And that is it. Thank you so much for watching. If you watched our previous top 10, we'd love to hear what you thought about the changes that you saw. If this is the first one you watched, thanks so much for coming and for watching our top 21. We'd love to hear your top 10 or 21 if you're feeling fancy.
Yeah, comments really help us out, as does liking or subscribing. So if you're able to do any of those as well, that does make a big difference for our channel. So thank you so much for joining, and hopefully we will see you for the next one.